as well. So my name is Jermaine Harrison. I live in Dallas. I attend Dallas Theological Seminary, which is essentially a school where, in the simplest terms, people train to do ministry, whether it's missions or counseling or student ministry or whatever the case is. I've had the privilege of serving at Watermark. Hannah's my homie, for the last 2 years, and I love hanging with y'all, so it's an honor to be here with you.
My name is Angela, and I'm from Allen. I went to Hardin-Simmons, and then did some mission work. I don't know if y'all have heard of the World Race. It's like an 11-month mission trip. I did that last year, got back in August, and then I just started at Dallas Theological Seminary in January, getting my master's in counseling. So he's 26, I'm 25. I live at home with my parents, which I haven't done since high school, so that has been an adjustment, but I'm loving it. My sister is a senior at Allen, so don't hate. And yeah, that's me. We're excited to be here with you guys.
Yeah, so this is my final semester at DTS, so 4 long years, about to get my master's degree in theology, and I was trying to just do my work and get out of school and be done, and she came on campus and she wanted to talk to me, so I was like, okay,
I'll
put you on my busy schedule and hang out with you if you really want to. And so we've been dating for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, what we're gonna do to start this off, just to kind of break the ice, kind of start the discussion, is we're gonna share our dating experience, kind of when we were in high school. Not our
Not y'all.
story.
No, we're not gonna have y'all.
Not y'all. Every one of you, tell me everything. Break the ice. No, we are gonna tell you about our experience when we were in high school. So that was a long time ago, but still. So do you want to go first, and then I'll go next. And then tonight's going to be, hey, if you have any questions, we're going to ask some questions and maybe even throw it out there for you to, share your thoughts, share your ideas, and we'll kind of, recap, come up with a summary, maybe answer to that question or, some concluding thoughts. So just don't feel any pressure that you have to answer anything, but we're open to questions and comments being, back and forth. All right, so...
Yeah, we would love a discussion. It would be awesome to hear y'all's input. I feel like we learn better when we hear what our peers think rather than just, hey, this is what you should do. So yeah, I grew up in a Christian home, grew up in church, and my mom always told me, don't date, just hang out in groups, and I was like, that's lame. My mom doesn't know what she's talking about, and I'm trying to piece together. I'm gonna make this fast. So the first guy that asked me out was the summer going into my 9th grade year. And have y'all heard of Celebrate Freedom?
Yes.
Okay, we went to that. We held hands and he kissed me on the cheek, and then we were dating. And
awkward.
He played the drums at the church I went to, and I thought he was really cute, and I think he had a car because he's older than me. Anyway, long story short, we dated for 17 days. Not really long story. And then he broke up with me in a Sunday school room and broke my heart. I remember listening to a lot of Avril Lavigne songs, just, screaming in my room, ah! And, before I could date him, my mom made me read I Kissed Dating Goodbye. I don't know. Y'all read that, yeah? Okay. It's the fastest book I ever read. I'm not a reader. I read it in 2 days, and she's like, give me a summary. I was like, yeah, this happened. I just scanned it. So anyway, dated him. I didn't date anyone until sophomore year of high school. There was this guy, and he was in my class, and thought he was cute. He went to church. Anyway, so I asked him to homecoming. I was very hey, I'm a girl, I know what I want, I'm going to go get what I want. And so he's like, well, I asked another girl, We'll see what she says. Yeah. And I was like, the next week, like, so, what did she say? And she said, yeah, we'll go. So we went to homecoming, and we started dating right after. And I actually pressured him, like, so, when are you going to ask me out? Like, when is this going to happen? What are we? You know, the whole DTR thing. And so we dated for, define the relationship as DTR, yeah. Anyway, so we dated for like 9 months, and then I was thinking, oh, we should probably break up, and then 2 days later, he's like, no, we're good, and then 2 days later, he broke up with me, and again, I was like heartbroken, and that was summer between sophomore and junior year, and then I have not dated until this guy. So I went to college, I worked 2 years after college, oh my gosh, I can't believe he did that. And then, yeah, so, and I guess, like, a huge reason I haven't dated is through that experience in high school. I would say I wore the pants in that relationship, like, kind of what I wanted to happen, happened, and I learned a lot from that. Just as a girl, as a woman, like, we're meant to be pursued, and the Lord just pursued me when I was on this year-long mission trip, and so, this is the first time that I've, like, he completely pursued me. I didn't even notice him, and he came up to me and was like, she's hot, I'm going to talk to her. And 100% our relationship has been him pursuing me, and it just feels completely, like, as it should be. So, yeah, that's, I don't know if you wanted to do that.
No, that's good. Okay. That's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
In high school, I was the guy that always had a girlfriend, like literally. I've had a girlfriend every year since I was 15 years old, like just all the time. I mean, I broke up with some of them. Did
you ever have two at once?
I kind of had two at once.
Oh my gosh!
So don't judge me by like what happened whenever I was in high school. I was the worst example. I am the worst example of what you should not do all through high school in terms of dating. If I was dating a girl and I saw another girl and I was like, like I like her more. Well, I just literally, that's what I did, which was horrific, which was unfair to the girls, and which is why I'm kind of nervous whenever I hear about high school dating. In some instances, it can be done well. I've seen it done well, but yeah, that's the end of my story. I just dated a girl every year all through high school, and I was terrible at it. But tonight, what we want to tell you is that there isn't some specific formula that you have to follow to date well in high school. I'm not gonna hold you to a standard that I didn't even hold myself to when I was in high school. Some people say, hey, like, high school dating should be completely out, it shouldn't even be an option on the table. But if I was in your position and you were hearing me say that right now, like, I just wouldn't listen to you. So I think that it's very important for us to not like say, oh yeah, for sure, go ahead and date, but help you to understand, from a biblical perspective, what it should look like in high school and moving forward. So the first question I want us to talk about, and I'm going to throw it out, and when someone's sharing their ideas or thoughts on it, I'd like for everyone else to just kind of listen to what they have to say if they're sharing with us. All right? Does that sound good? Okay.
See you guys. Thank you for coming.
See you, Austin.
Bye. Good luck.
See you, other person with Austin. Bye.
Angela. Her name's Angela.
Bye, Angela. All right. So, yeah, just an icebreaker question. What do you guys think about high school dating? Do you think it's something valuable? Do you think it's not valuable? Go.
I think it can be valuable. I think it definitely needs to be kept in perspective, though, because I think sometimes if you kind of overemphasize, if that relationship becomes too much, then, high school is like this pivotal point, with things happening about to go to college. I think it can distract you, but I'd say, it's tough. I guess there's a thin line of where it's it's okay and it's a healthy relationship, but if you go beyond that, then it can really kind of have some negative effects.
Yeah.
especially because you're so young. You've zero experience.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Someone else. You think high school dating valuable? Do you think it's something that you should get involved in or not? Or like, what are your drawbacks from doing it, or what are your points for doing it? Anybody have something?
I think if it's done right, it can be a good thing. Like, it helps you learn about what you do and don't want from a person. Like, obviously, you should hold yourself to a high standard and expect people to treat you well. But I think also it helps you gauge what kind of person you want to be with. I mean, but then again, relationship can also be bad because people can treat you badly and it can mess some people up. But I think overall it can be a good thing if you let it.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I think one thing about high school relationships is that we've all seen it where two people get way too invested in each other and they talk about getting married and you're like, don't do that. But I think at this age there's so many other things that we can be doing, and high school dating can be great, but there's so many other things establishing friendships. I think is ultimately way more important than establishing one relationship, because who you are at 17 or 18 is not who you're going to be at 25 or 26, and making these plans on marriage and stuff like that and commitment like that is pointless when you know that you've got so much growing up to do, and who you think you like at 17 is probably not who you think you're going to like at 25, because your differences, your thought process change, and your ideas change and your values change. And so I think that that's really something to keep in mind when you date people, is to know that well, probably not going to marry this person. Mm-hmm. So and then when you think about well, if I'm not going to marry him, then what's the point? So I don't know, and that goes in the whole courting thing, which is kind of overwhelming and scary. So I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts. I'm sorry, I'm rambling.
Okay. No, that's good. That's good. Anybody else have anything?
I think it depends on your motives going into a relationship. If you're insecure and you're looking for a guy to make you feel like you're worth something, or you're doing it because everyone else is doing it, I think all those motives will just lead to destruction in the end. So going into a relationship, I think you have to be at a good place with God, and the other person has to be at a good place with God, and through the relationship you should be striving towards Him together, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone up? You want to say something?
I think it's a really good ray or describing of how much you put in is how much you get out. So if you put good in, you're going to get good out of the relationship. But if you put bad into the relationship, you're going to get bad out, and you're going to get negative effects. And it's just going to go downhill. But if you because it can also teach you how to respect other people, and because they might have a different opinion and you might not have seen it that way, and they might take you away from bad things. If you do drugs, I'm going to break up with you, so obviously you're going to stop doing drugs. And maybe they do drugs and you're oh, if my partner does drugs, I have to do it with them. And then it's just
it either makes you or breaks you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so what are, real quick, just give some examples of reasons why you think high schoolers in general date, even with all of those pitfalls or issues that may arise. Why do you still want to do it?
I think one big thing is we're teenagers, we have hormones. But then another thing, the reason I think is because we're trying to find ourselves in high school, and throughout college, we're just trying to find ourselves, and so we get so comfortable with someone, and so we find our own identity in them, and that's just not healthy at all. Because you need to find your own identity in God first before you find your identity in a person. And so I think that's what a lot of high schoolers do. Just a negative standpoint on it. Not trying to be negative or anything, but I think a lot of people just find their identity in another person rather than finding it in God for satisfaction that just leads to destruction in the end.
Yeah. Anybody else?
It's also a fun idea.
What?
It's just a fun idea.
It's a fun idea to date. Okay, that's fair. It's a fun idea.
I think people date because everyone else around them is dating, and they look at the relationship and they're oh, that's really fun, or I want to have someone to talk to, stuff like that.
And they go Sparkbox.
They're terrible.
Okay, so my question is off of what she just said. maybe in the room, and this, takes some sort of honesty. How many of you like look at, some relationships around, or like, even if they're an awesome, like, godly relationship where they're doing it right, and you're like, man, I wish I could have that. Like, no, in high school. Is that a huge concern for you, or is it just like, if it happens, it happens?
Repeat the
I
question.
wanted that in high school.
Huh?
I wanted that in high school. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. So I was saying, how many of you feel like having a good, healthy, not just, I just want to date because I want to date, but how many of you feel like right now or during your time in high school, it would be awesome if you had a good, healthy relationship with a guy or with a girl? Like, is that something that you're like, yeah, it's a cool desire to have? Yeah. And I think that it's a natural God-given desire to have that. But it's, again, like Andy said, it's how you pursue it. So next question. How does society look at dating in the different stages of your life? For example, how do you think parents and teachers and society in general view dating in middle school and then dating in high school? Like, what's the general perspective that you think that you get from in middle school and high school about dating? Like, is it bad? Is it good? Should you not do it? Should you do it? Like, what's the perspective that you get?
I would say, like, in middle school, some parents, like, they're like, oh, that's so cute, like, they're dating. But then some parents are like, that is so stupid, like, why are you dating? You're in, like, 6th grade. Like, what are you doing?
Okay. You saying something?
Basically, I was going to say the same thing. Like, most adults, when they see dating in middle school or high school, they just really don't think it's good necessarily. I mean, they probably think better of it, like, junior or senior year, because basically they're becoming more of an adult themselves. But in middle school, they're just like, yeah, you shouldn't do that.
Okay. Anybody else?
I think, like, I know I already kind of look down on, like, middle schoolers, like, dating kind of thing. Okay, Andy and I, so we visit a middle school, like, once a week, and there's just some people there that literally are, every week they're dating a different person. Or they broke up and now they're dating an 8th grader, or they're back together and they're dating somebody else, or they hugged so now they're dating. And like all these crazy things, and I'm like, I don't get how you do that or how you keep up and remember who's dating who. So like, I know me personally, I'm like not even an adult yet, and I'm like, well, that's stupid. Why are you doing that?
Yeah. Okay.
Coming off from her, my kid, Christian, when it's when he's dating someone, it's their birthday, he'll do his best to not get them a birthday present and break up with them before. So after that, he's like, well, I guess I can go after someone else. And I think it's so funny. It's such a bad idea. Because I just look down on him and I'm like, Christian, you can't do that.
Did you get a card with her?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So tell me how dating is viewed when you're in college.
When you're in college.
Yeah.
I think in college it's more like it's acceptable, or it's like accepted by everyone.
Because it's more serious level, I think. Because like at a middle school, obviously it's not going to be like an actual, real, serious relationship. In high school, it's kind of like, I guess it's kind of growing a little bit, but it's still really not like all the way there. But in college, I guess everybody's more like mature, and they kind of like know how they should act and like know who they are, so it's easier for them to find like who they want.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? How is dating viewed like in college, in the college years?
I kind of agree with I agree with Garrett, and then like it's more like accepted because you are older and you're viewed as more mature, but also like I have like some of my brother's friends, like some of the girls that I know have like been dating guys for like the past 3 years in college, and I think it's cute and like it can be good, but I feel like also you're missing out on that point of like meeting new people because you're less likely to talk to others when you're in a relationship. I think you're shying yourself away from others, but I think it's also a good thing because you are more mature and so it's more possible of being long term. Mm-hmm. It depends on who the person is, I guess.
Okay.
I have a question bouncing off of that. Do you guys think that every relationship like that every couple, well, they're dating, so they're obviously going to distance themselves from other people? Or do you think that's like the bad way of doing it, and the right way would be, yeah, they're dating, but they still have really good relationships outside of their relationship?
I think when it's first starting off, they will distance themselves from others, so they basically have like their own relationship intact. And then like when you actually see them like actually have a strong relationship, that's when basically they're branching out to others, and it won't have an effect on them because they know where they stand with each other.
It's kind of, yeah, it's like they build the trust with each other.
Yeah.
So like once they have like the full trust, then they can like.
Yeah.
I think that you should have relationships with others, but not like a relationship with others, because obviously you're dating someone. But
Right.
it like makes me really sad when you like lose friends because they're in a relationship, so they feel like they can't like hang out with anyone else, or they have to be with that person all the time, and they can't have any other friend groups.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going somewhere with this. How does society in general view dating whenever you're outside of college? Like you're a young adult, just got your first job outside of college, you're 22, 23, 24. Like, what's the perspective on dating then?
Oh, you date just to have fun. There's no real meaning behind it at all. That's the way I see it. Society sees it.
I think there's a lot of pressure on finding someone really quick. Like, even if you just watch our media, you know, you have The Bachelorette, where they're so desperate to find someone. And I feel like once you get out of those college years, you just lose your independence, and like you have to. It's almost frowned upon to like, at least for women too, to like start a career and like support yourself for a while. Where I feel like a lot of people feel like they need to find a husband immediately or need to be with someone. Where, I mean, like, if you, like, you find that people who get into their 30s and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get married because I haven't found someone. Where I feel like it's really pressure to find someone quickly rather than just wait it out and find the right person for you.
Yeah. Somebody else?
I think. Oh,
Go.
You go.
Okay. I think there's like you were talking about how there's not independence, and I see what you're saying, but in a way I feel like there's a little bit more independence and it's a little bit more serious, because like when you're in college, like if your parents are like paying for it and you're still like, you know, like you have your breaks where you go home and visit your parents, but then after college is when you can like decide, like, are you gonna move, like go buy a house, and like when you have all those big decisions. So I feel like it is in a way more serious than college and like more important.
I think like the biggest thing is like when you get older, like dating is viewed very differently, and like now if you like go out with some person like one time, people are automatically like, oh my god, are y'all like official? Like, are you FBO or something like that? and like as an adult, like you can go on like lots of dates with people and then like decide it doesn't work and then never see them again. And like in high school, it's like all different because like you're at the same school with them, and you have to like deal with seeing them between passing periods and stuff like that. And like it, like as an adult, it's just like it's so much more relaxed, and I feel like there's not as much like pressure about like making things like of what they are, if that makes any sense at all. But
Yeah. My fear is that what society does in general, because I really don't see much difference between how dating is done now as young adults as to how it's done in high school or even middle school, kind of like what you were saying just now. You date someone for a couple of weeks and then, you know, you're dating someone else. And I mean, that's what happens even as you get older, because kind of like what you were saying, people are trying to find that one person, and so, you know, they date around, you know, trying to find that person. And my fear is that dating is so downplayed, or it's so frowned upon when you're your age, that when you get to 25, 26, 27, you don't know how to be intentional with another person and getting to know them and looking for what you want in a person or not. And so, not to downplay this or say that it's something really bad, but the end result is, hey, you put your profile up on eHarmony or Christian Mingle or whichever dating website. I mean, I know people who have done that, but they get to a point where it's like they don't know, guys especially, because they should approach. But they get to a point where they're nervous from the fear of rejection, that if they ask a girl out, she might be like, nah, I'm not interested. So they put themselves on eHarmony or something where, if someone contacts you or whatever, you know for sure that you're not getting rejected because they're like, I like you, And so because they haven't had those experiences going through high school or maybe even college of experiencing rejection, that's just a part of it. And that's a part that you need to experience and see and feel and out of that being confident in walking up to a girl and
you got
asking her
rejected last year, right?
Huh?
You got rejected last year.
No, I didn't.
He did. He did. So it even happens to strong, confident men too.
That's true, but because I was strong and confident, I still kept asking other people out, like her, and she said yes. So yeah. Okay, so new question. Just to kind of wrap up all the questions we've just been asking. What is the purpose of dating? Whether it's in high school, college, or whenever. What is the purpose of dating? Go.
You mean what's the right purpose, or what?
What's
what's the motivation?
What should be the purpose? The right purpose of dating. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Interesting.
Go ahead.
Interesting question.
I think one perspective to look at it is you're either breaking up with them or you're going to marry them and spend your life with them. So I think it should be someone that you're good friends with and you know them well and they love God as much as you do because you can't be unequally yoked.
You could, and then your children, that's totally different stuff.
And they should be able to help you build a person. And I was reading in a book, and they should be they should treat you like Jesus would treat you, and you should see them as a reflection of Jesus on earth. That's how you should view them, as a reflection of Jesus. Not they're not going to be Jesus because they're going to make mistakes, human, but their love for you should reflect Jesus' love for you. That's
pretty strong relationship for a high school relationship.
Well, I'm just saying that's what you should look for.
Oh my God! Yeah. So Bryson is Jesus on it.
All right, next question.
I think the overall purpose of dating is to get married and have a family, and so that's the moral of the story. You're dating because you're going to get married and have kids. You're not dating to have fun. I don't really know what the right motive is to have a family, but I think high schoolers date to have fun.
Okay.
First date time.
Someone else. What do you think the purpose of dating is, or you can share what do you think most high schoolers think the point is, the purpose is?
I feel like maybe it's just for temporary happiness, to see just what you can find in a relationship, to know what you like, and to find new interests, and to not die alone with all 30 of your cats.
Somebody else.
I don't think I'm not really sure the right purpose is, but I don't think anybody who dates in high school really knows the true purpose. It just seems like when you go into a relationship, you have these feelings for somebody, and you see them all the time because you go to school with them, and it's you know that it's just we've been around it ever since we've grown up. If people like each other, they date, and then we were born in a society that happened. So now it's you have feelings for somebody, we're all right, I'm gonna date them, and then you get into the relationship and you're well, I feel I don't really know what the right purpose is, or because it's not the Bible just lays out dating before here's what you do when you date. It doesn't doesn't have it there. You just know that if something I don't really know.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. The Bible doesn't list, outline, hey, this is the purpose of dating. And so for me, I kind of came up with a definition that I think is kind of good. I think that the initial purpose of dating, especially in high school, obviously you're attracted to the person from a physical or just seeing them standpoint. But the purpose of dating is to discover that girl's character or that guy's character in hopes, like Hannah said, of in the future, being married and starting a family and all of this stuff. But the initial purpose, I think, is getting to know that person, getting to know, their flaws, their good points, being a source of encouragement to them and them to you, a mutual building up, if it's a healthy, relationship between, a guy and a girl. I don't know if you want to add something onto that, but do you?
I mean, yeah, I think that even something we were talking about is like even a year ago, like on this year-long mission trip that I was on, like I got to know some really, really great godly guys that, gave away a whole year to serve the Lord. And I mean, I developed some crushes, and I mean, did anything happen? No, but I don't think, like, sometimes I would think too, like, oh, I shouldn't have a crush, or there was like almost shame tied up in that, or I had to keep it like this secret. Whereas, like, hey, they're a godly guy and they are pursuing the Lord and they have honor and integrity, and like there was one guy where he was really great with people, and so it gave me insight into like I know that that's someone that that's something that I really want. Like it helps us to know just in being in groups too. Like I mentioned that my mom had said don't be in groups, but now I wish that I would have done that more in high school, like hung out with groups, because you can know people on a group basis and know their character, and see and pick out characteristics that you want in someone. So yeah, I think
that's a good addition. And like my fear, I'm afraid of people who are are so adamantly against high school dating, just because I've seen really good friends of mine who started dating in high school and dated all through high school, dated all through college, and then so at some point after that got married. And who am I to say that they shouldn't have started dating, whenever they were in high school? I don't know. I mean, the Lord obviously kept them together and allowed them to get married. So if that was the way that He chose for them to, build a relationship, then, I mean, it's so subjective, It's just very important for each of you guys, each of us to be working on our character, and again in dating relationships or even in groups, like she was just saying. You don't have to be dating to see the character of a person. You can hang out in groups or whatever the case is, and see how that person interacts with other girls, see how that person interacts with other guys. Are they a flirt? Do they flirt with every single guy, or do they flirt with every single girl? Like, do they lie? Do they whatever? You observe. Like it's very important to observe. What you see in that person, good qualities, bad qualities, whatever the case is. Yes.
After like our third date, that was something so we have a mutual friend, and that's like I would talk to her, and she's married, and so I would be like, yeah. That's kind of how I found out that he liked me, because he texted her like, hey, so I saw this girl, and I was in her wedding. We were both at this wedding in June, and we didn't meet each other there. Anyway, so I'm talking to her, and he's talking to her husband, and I had told her, I said, yeah, the dates are going well, but I just really want to see him in a group context. Like, that's really important to me. And so then she told him, hey, she wants to see you in a group context. Like, oh, come on. So, but yes, it is really important, and through that I was able to see, because you're sitting face to face with someone, they can have this mask and pretend to be this gentleman and pull the chair out and pay for you and open the car door and whatever, dress really nice or, put on this facade. But it was really important to me that I saw the true character of who he is with his friends and with his roommates, and just in real life, rather than just sitting across the table for me for an hour once a week for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.